Ronnie, nyt olisi nyt saa näitä, kun täällä Espoolla näitä, mutta suukaan näitä.
Siinä ehkä olisi matkaspeskä sinua. Jäi. Mä olen vakuudet sitten. Mä raskasta. Miten oikeesti saahan ne sekä nyt mä olisin oikeesti. Niin kertoo, kunhan viljeltiin. Sitten koko ajan. Ja se väistö kiekkoja. Mä saakkaan te. Mä voin pattialla. Onko mä kannatsessa täälättiin jaako. Mä kun kanssa graafiikka vuosi aika vahvaa kukkuva ei kodessa. Pattialla ottais. Ei tiedä. Se lakkois pattiskaapi uudaan. Raaka mun seis koukea veistukki. Ois vaaremmin se. Miskin alkattu. Ja keikko raais. Ja liivokka rattuus. Pari voi liivaa. Niin minä alkaisin keistää. Pari liivokkaa keikko. Minä alkaa. Monen kerran voi vaan kataukat saarukin. Ja veistukka ja keikin. Sitten tuossa viutitetaan suhteen. No mistä rahvahtus. Räätin novusta ikäkö ja mä usin kyllä itseäsi kun irkattaa riipputtaa. No miksi tuossa kotteenet kun tää oli räävitty, ja itseäsi kun tää räävitty. Mut saarukkaan se sitä kun vielä suoruuden rahvatsusta, niin vois saas kuukin. Vaas voi tehdä, että tiekuukin. Vaan voi itse mirkku, eikä kuin jälkeen saarukista, niin missä on kuksuokuun. Vaan voi nieksi tuttuun mikä, kun ei nyt suuri tehdä maraarkana, tatos voi tehdä muuta. Kiekko tää itse, kun miekkaa ruukat saarukkaat. Agaadi haakkoista, matsaattama polta tuhjaakin. Niin vaan syyskää kuin. Mä ne vaan syyskää itseäsi, kun teistä yhdekään. Itseäsi, kun teistä yhdekään vittu. Ja niin ei mä ne ääniitä, kun yhdekään itseäsi, kun täällä on vittua siitä. Rautsi, Jesus, kun saas kiinni valkaa. Amen.
Aho. Roll call. Great.
Here, Black Lunch, present. Rogers, Black Lunch.
Stuart, Black Lunch.
You, Waddles, Black
Gordon Brown, Waddles and that.
Earl White, Lunch, here.
François, Rose, big one. Goes ahead, a little bit.
Good luck, East Goodman, Chandler.
Stuart, he goes to Gatland.
River Maléfique. Oh, cross it, Oh, Chairman requested for a special session. And we are honored his request at this time. And I thank the legal staff, Chairman, Vice Chairman, Vice Secretary for your attendance, legal staff, public members of the General Council, President, senators, staff, Chief Law, people, Anna Hawaii, Gadaro, Mr. Hughes, Oklahoma. I guess recognition of visiting guests, the media chairman, Oile Gostajam, Oile Juang, Go, United Police.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay. You Scan Ursula, Russell Ursula, right? So we're all a little bit. Casino, we don't come off in the Robert, the big, unmarked. wala tuuti. Kun on lahkatailu, kun ei nyt vahpinen, kun vaikka is paljon tappaa, kun on vahti jo vaikka. Ei, ne calm down. Calm down, it's positive change. Well, again, helppo on office näin. Facts on why they're being laid off, you know. Out of this whole packet, again, office on my copies there. The first email that was the original email from Kristen. Only 3 people in the group. The group emailed that. Melissa, Bill Watt, and Kristen Bird and myself were the only people that got it. And that's their original with it. That one's a true fact. The next one, needs your help page, Marlon. Marlon emails, they need it to who's page that they added some stuff that, Alilichi or Chada, I think 107 fluid out here. Seniors follow how we had legislatures, their expenditures they buy it, they're, this is all, if you look at Marlon's emails, this is a long email. He doesn't have, long emails like this. This one, I never received his email, or neither as the people on there, so this is snapshot he was doing. So it's made to seem like Marlon is saying this. Job, this payroll registry, those are all inaccurate numbers. The figures on there is all inaccurate. The people that are on here, the money they make, that's not the right amount. This legal contract for legal service, this one's the original document. The only 2 people that had it are the finance and legal. And Daniel Lavender hasn't billed us as the tribe. He does work for Aiken Gump, so all of his time has been paid by Aiken Gump, but when he does work for the tribe, he hasn't paid, or he hasn't billed us the amount on here. And Bighorn County News is, that's, theirs is, I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what they're reporting. And then the up per cap, double payments, this email is, if you look at this Outlook web app, this ain't even the way our emails are set up at the tribe. This was, basically made up, saying that go ahead and make out the per cap checks for those people who got double per cap. That's not an email from me. And the email that did go out to the finance staff was, we need to find a way to get this per cap back. And all of these people on here, they're not actual people that got the double per cap. And the ones that did get the double per cap, we got that money back in December. We sent out a letter asking, when they did it was only the people with, 5 people on a check who would have 4 dependents. The 5th one would be the actual adult. So people with 4 dependents, they got a double check, and that was due to their printing checks until they got to, they called them 5s. The last person to print the checks didn't know the next day when the people came in again to print the checks, they started back at where the 5s ended. They started the whole system again, and so they got double checks. And we did ask them to return, a lot of them did, and the ones that didn't, we wrote them a letter saying that we're going to get back. It was our mistake, and if you could work with us on recouping this money back. And all of them, we deducted the 190 times 5 from their December payments. So those are all paid. And this list is, if you look at it, just give you an example myself, I don't have 9 dependents. CJ, I don't think he gets 6 per caps. It's just all made up stuff. Kenneth Deputy, 15 dependents. Just outrageous. Mostly people in my family. They're just targeting. It's just all rumors and innuendos. The credit, those are actual checks that were sent out, and that this is accurate information. And if you want to look at the entire list of people that get credit, you'll be surprised. All of these people are under 3,000, 4,000 range. You have people that owe the tribe 67,000, 20,000, 30,000. And they're the people that put this together. And if you continue on this after the credit, these are actual numbers. The credit card expenses, the email that came out. This was the time when our credit cards got hacked back in I believe it's January, February, around that time, when there were purchases from Walmart, Target, and the bank did do an investigation, and my credit card was hacked for I think it was 50,000, and then AJ's was for like 28,000. And they were buying furniture, groceries in Seattle, in New York City. But the bank didn't pay that back. They paid us back after they investigated. They did catch the guys that hacked our credit cards. And so this email came out about that time when looking at all of this. And then this last one, or second last one on the casino, a letter dated December 10th to Wells Boontown Casino Acting General Manager. For your information, Wells Boontown has never been the acting general manager of the casino. And those Indian relay shirts that we wore during Native Day Pro Fair were given to us by the Professional Indian Horse Racing Association. And those are the same shirts they asked us to take to Canterbury, and that's what we used over there. And so this letter is, Wells Boontown was never the acting general manager. The Indian relay that took place, Professional Indian Horse Racing, they paid our way to go over there to be a part of that. And I don't think I'd ever say AKA Corky Oldhorn. So, please check out to Robert Oldhorn, AKA Corky Oldhorn. I think it's kind of 68,000. And this is, I don't know, that one's not a fact. And if you go back to the front page there, financial troubles, the email is correct, the contract is correct, the payroll registry is incorrect, the Hairpin Ranch, the felon, he passes, appoints Elvie as assistant director. I don't think my family should be involved in all this. The cap checks, duplicates, those are false. The credit loans, those are accurate. Credit card abuse for myself and AJ, those numbers are almost to the exact of when our credit cards were hacked. The Pro Felon Park, the flagpole was actually state funds. Honorarium, speakers, dedication of park to 20,000, mostly felons that spoke that day. But that's what they're saying. The people that spoke that day are myself, Secretary Not Afraid, Vice Secretary Backbone, and on behalf of, I spoke on behalf of my grandfather, Henry Oldcow and Barney Oldcow, Code Talkers. Larry Not Afraid spoke on behalf of his grandfather, Cyril Not Afraid, and Eric Burdenground spoke on his grandfather's behalf, Junior Burdenground, and we dedicated that park as Code Talkers Park. And the only other two people that spoke were Tim Fox and Popeye Big Hair. And no honorarium fees were paid out. If we did pay out honorarium, then we owe Eric $1,000. The NFR, INFR, the South Point, the Crow Tribe was the co-sponsor, and $300 per registrant. And each of them, the credit department, the Terrell department paid their own way, the roads department paid their own way from their budgets. And then we did make money back from that INFR South Point. The Indian Relay Shop paid 35 customized shirts in 3 colors for tribal officials and close advisors. Those are the same shirts that were given to us at Native Days. The close advisors, I think the only person that got a shirt was CJ Not Afraid, and Sean Backbone purchased the shirt for him. Solid Nights Casino, the memo. Wells has never been the acting general manager. And the rubber bat check, Kendall Colmore. That check wasn't a rubber check; it was an actual check. It wasn't a rubber bat check. It just didn't go through the bank until 5 days later, and that check went through. And that was for the Indian Relay. This is misuse of federal transportation water resource funds for tribal payroll from December 2012 to January 2014. They're separate accounts. We just recently received the water resource money within the last month. Tribal payroll, 26 periods, 1.2, 32 million. And it says so far we've spent 38 million, and I think we've brought in all of our expenses and showed you the actual numbers. So, and what's true and false in all of this is, the financial troubles I've been explaining that we are 12 million in the red, and I've gave you a list of why and when those monies were dropped down. And I can go through them again with if time would allow, but I have a breakdown of the 12 million and where that money has gone. The breakdown of the 12 million general fund cash on hand, 1.5. And this is this cushion that's always been there prior to 2009. 1.5 was always a cushion cash on hand to keep the tribe. We cover a lot of federal money, so this was a cushion. The roads and transit, the carryover. At 9/30/2012, the transportation G2G award 379 included in this figure is 2.26 received on 9/25/2012 to construct the transportation facility. So this was drawn down in 9/25/2012. Based upon the FY 2013 transportation program, board draws in an expenditure out of the cash on hand. 9/30/2013 would be at least 3.2 million. This money was drawn down and used for payroll back in September 30th, September 25th, 2012. Taking them 2 million. So far we've paid 600,000 of that. Per cap book balance for per capita from 6 years, the amounts are down each per capita, and the invoices obligations are recorded per enrolled member with an 04 hold. Once the documentation needed to release the 04 hold is received, the payment is released. And that's a per cap liability. Those are 04 holds. The district donation, this would be expenditures for the districts to operate utilities, donations, community support, and events. The DOJ liability to repay $266,000 for vehicles and equipment purchased for use by non-enforcement officers. That this was from September 1, 2007 to August 31st, 2011, had to repay $3,000 for training attended by non-grant related staff. 7109 from 6/30/12 had to repay $25,000 for wages and payroll taxes paid to the grant officers. That was above tribal police officer wage rates. There is pending decision on judicial system enhancement project 9105 83108 at $213,000 presently. Last word is possibly have to repay $60,000 for inadequate procurement of contractors. So far, we've paid DOJ $300,000. A feasibility study, the purchase of the brick machine, materials to get the correct consistency, and this was for the Good Earth Lodges, and we have to pay $1 million back to HUD, and this is through ANHA, Housing Authority, and this $1 million on 9/30/2013 to bring the enterprise fund to a break even. The money was already spent, and to bring that Good Earth Lodges back to break even point, we have to invest $1 million. Credit loans, cash monthly for credit loans given out and collected received $600,000. IHS and BIA advance total is 2.5, and that's 12 million. And the dates on this is it goes back to 9/30/2013. And in my hand is a list of all the from January 1st, 2000 to January 31st, 2014, the current balance owed from credit. And I have, the first 51 people that owe the Crow Tribe from credit. And I'm going to give it to the speaker for record, and he can distribute as he sees fit. That's for information for the legislature. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I will request for review and adoption of the agenda. Need a motion? Motion made by Ray Kieran's, second by Gerald Stewart. All in favor, raise your right hands. All opposed, all abstained, 15-0-0. Stand corrected, 14. Okay, fourth item on the agenda, new business. A joint action resolution entitled Resolution Authorizing Project Expenditures from the Economic Development Account Loan Fund at First Interstate Bank for Reservation Economic Development Project, renewable energy projects, and land purchases. Need a motion to adopt. Motion, speaker recognizes Carlson, goes ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I believe that, I know that this was presented, but one of these had to come in last in the end. And this one I'm gonna make a motion to move forward with, in order of the, what do you call that, the second JAR resolution ratifying, approving the temporary transfer of 1.5 million from the economic development account loan fund to be first on the agenda. And then the second would be the resolution approving purchase and service agreement of 360 office solution multi-functioning printing and copying machines to come in second, and then this one to be third.
Okay, that's in the form of motion.
That's a form of a motion.
Need a second? Second by Charles. Stewart. All in favor, raise your hand. 14, all opposed, all abstained, 14-0-0. Motion carried. Okay, first item on the agenda on the joint action resolution entitled Resolution Ratifying and Approving the Temporary Transfer of 1.5 million from the Economic Development Account Loan Fund to the General Fund for the travel operation purposes to be restored by monthly payments over a 1-year period. Need a motion to adopt. Motion made by Councilman Rosenhead, second. Vice Grovan. Mr. Chairman, do you have someone to introduce the bill for the JAR?
Question for me.
Yes. Okay, I stand corrected. Okay, Chairman will introduce the first item on the agenda. Tyson, do you want to withdraw your second? Withdraw your second.
I withdraw my motion.
Motion's withdrawn.
A joint action resolution entitled Resolution Ratifying and Approving the Temporary Transfer of 1.5 million from the Economic Development Account Loan Fund to the General Fund for Travel Operations purposes to be restored by monthly payments over a 1-year period.
Need a motion to adopt. Motion by Tyson Grovan, second by Carlson Rosenhead. Proceed, Mr. Chairman.
Whereas the chairman of the executive branch has authority and responsibility pursuant to enumerated powers in Article 4, Section 3D of the Constitution and bylaws of the Crow Tribe of Indians to administer any funds within the control of the Crow Tribe and make expenditures from available funds for travel purposes, including salaries and expense of tribal officials or employees. Whereas the Crow Tribal Legislature and the Crow Tribal Executive Branch enacted joint action resolution number JAR 13-19 on October 24, 2013 to approve a loan agreement for a loan from First Interstate Bank in an amount of $10 million, secured by interest from the 107 Settlement Trust Fund, a loan for the purpose of funding land purchases and economic development projects and paying off the 2013 unsecured line of credit. And such loan closed on November 1st, 2013, and all BIA and OST approvals have been obtained. Whereas pursuant to joint action resolution number JR 13-19, the balance of the loan proceeds after repayment of 2013 unsecured line of credit and transaction costs for the loan have been deposited in a separate economic development account with First Interstate Bank. And whereas JR 13-19 requires that all future expenditures from the economic development account be approved by additional joint action resolutions. And whereas in order to provide immediate funding for travel government operations during the week of January 20th, 2014, executive branch officials in close consultation with the officers and finance committee of the legislative branch and with First Interstate Bank have determined that the best interests of the tribe will be served by temporary transferring 1.5 from the economic development account to the tribal general fund, and restoring such amount to the economic development account by monthly payments from the general fund as monies become available during the following year. Whereas the chairman of the executive branch has made arrangements with First Interstate Bank to transfer 1.5 from the economic development account to the general fund, and such transfer was completed on January 23, 2014. Now therefore be it resolved by the Crow Tribal Legislature and the Crow Tribal Executive Branch, Section 1, transfer of 1.5 million from the economic development account to the tribal general fund during the week of January 28, 2014, for the purpose of meeting immediate funding needs for the tribal government operations is hereby ratified and approved, subject to Section 2 below. Section 2, the executive branch shall ensure that the funds transferred pursuant to Section 1 above shall be restored to the economic development account by means of monthly payments plus 5% interest in the approximate amount of $128,500 per month over a period of 12 months from the date of approval of this resolution, with the first such payment to be made within 30 days after approval of this resolution, provided that the remaining balance to be restored may be prepaid at any time when general fund monies are available without further interest, and any deferrals of the monthly payment during the 12-month restoration period, if necessary to sustain tribal government operations, shall be subject to review and approval by the Finance Committee of the Legislature. The effective date of this resolution is January 22nd, 2014.
In 30-minute presentation.
The way we came up with the 1.5 from this loan, it'll be the hydro would get 500,000 and delay. It's not really a delay. The second phase of it, the other 500,000. The first 500,000 will be hydro for this year. The second 500,000 will be hydro next fiscal year. And casino development was the other 500,000, 300,000 from the H2O drilling rig, and then the remaining 200,000 was coming from, if we had a 3-year salary, that total 293 for the project manager and the convenience, so 200,000 will be coming from the project manager as a 3-year salary at 293,000. That's where the 1.5 will be coming from.
Is that all, Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
The Finance Committee was assigned to this JAR, and Mr. Carlson goes ahead. Would you give me your recommendation from the committee?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Secretary, members of the body, and Mr. Chair, Vice Secretary, legal staff, and the guests. We had a meeting on Monday, February 3rd for this Finance Committee on this particular joint action resolution. And we started at 10:44 a.m. Invocation was by Senator Grovon. 9 members present at that time. There was Vincent Privadarm, Rep. 3 Arns, Senator Rogers, Senator Paul Hill, Senator Stewart of Wyola, Senator Goodluck of Wyola, Secretary Rilbert, and myself were present at this meeting. And then the recommendation was, a motion was made by Senator Grovon, seconded by Senator 3 Arns, and questioned by Senator Vincent Privadarm, that we recommend this to the full legislature for debate and discuss for ratification. And that was the recommendation that we made at that meeting, Mr. Chair. And it was approved, 9 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. So that was the recommendation to go to the floor for debate and discuss for further ratification.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Floor is now open for debate. Speaker recognizes Cross and goes in.
Mr. Chair, the reason why we wanted this to come to the floor was we wanted everybody to be up to speed on what this, there's 3 JARs that we are entertaining today at the special session. But this particular bill is the one that we had a meeting, I believe, what was that, February 24th, or it was on Wednesday, and at the First Interstate Bank. And I know that there was a lot of questions being raised, and I guess one of the things that we are borrowing, and this is for the live stream audience and for those that are here, we are borrowing, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, from the $7 million economic development. We're borrowing from that, the $7 million at an interest rate of 4.25%, right? 4.25% interest rate, and we are going to pay it back in 12 months. The payback is $128,000, as it was proposed. The exact number, $128,000 per month. Go back to that. $128,500 for a period of 12 months. Or, you know, if there's general fund monies, as subsection A says, the remaining balance to be restored may be prepaid at any time when general fund monies are available without further interest. So if we pay earlier, we don't have to pay any of that interest. Would be cost saving, but we're borrowing against the $7 million. $7 million to make up for the 1.5 cash flow that we need, I believe. And then we have an advance, the executive branch got an advance of $750,000 from the June 14th Cloud Peak bonus to cover the 1.5. So, saying all that, at that time there was further discussions, but I'm going to throw out a amendment here when it hits to the amendments. And Jay, I want you to, with your permission, Mr. Speaker, I want to direct Jay to make an amendment when it comes to section 2 to add another subsection C, that we would get, that the Speaker, the Finance Committee, Chair, and Committee would get a bank statement of the monthly payback until this loan is paid in full for borrowing against the $7 million. So that's going to be forthcoming. Hope you agree with that, the legal staff and Mr. Chairman. So that would be subsection, another section C, that a monthly bank statement would be given to the Speaker, the Finance Committee Chair, and the committee, so that we know that this money is being paid. And that's one of the areas I didn't think about that, but reading it over and over, and So that'd be, for our records as well too. And I know that there was a lot of, among the legislators, that was about 15 days ago, we have a 15-day public notice for a special session, and that's why we're here today. And there was only 6 of us that were there at that First Interstate Bank in Billings that day. And the situation with the tribe was trying to make payroll for the employees, the general fund employees, as well as the 638 employees as well. And so we were short on cash. I believe the previous payroll before that time was an $800,000 overdraft. And then that week of, when we had that meeting, it was, I believe it was $550,000 that we were in overdraft, if I'm not mistaken. So, and then I know that some of the legislators couldn't be there at that meeting. But there was a decision that had to be made, and there was no way around with that 15-day notice. So there was a concurrence in that meeting to call for a special session. And I know that $800,000 overdraft, $550,000 overdraft, we shouldn't be paying penalties on that, but they waived that for the tribe, the First Interstate Bank. And the reasoning, I believe, we had a leverage of $210 million that's already sitting in their bank. So I always kind of think about, what if we didn't have that $210 million not sitting in their bank? Would they, waive those penalties for us? I think they would charge us. I mean, so just saying that, and it was a tough decision, to tell you the truth, and so that's just a little bit of the history of that meeting. I believe the speaker was there, Secretary Reelberg was there, Senator Alden, myself, Senator Gohan was there, Senator Gerald Stewart was there, and Senator Hugs was there. So okay, that was the my comment, but I'd like to make an amendment when we get to it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Speaker recognizes Conrad.
Mr. Speaker, Secretary, Vice Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Vice Secretary, and guests, legal counsel. I just, we all knew we were in a situation. It's not like it was front page news that it just so happened and it was all hot off the press. But I think we had advance notice. I mean, a lot of us, I know the chairman came in here and brought up a lot of information prior to that, and I think it was way more than 15 days. But then yet, at a time, on the instant, not in the chambers, not in quorum, not in session, a decision was made. And I know that a decision had to be made, and granted, what do we make law for? We all agreed on this loan, $10 million loan, that we're gonna give on 15-day notices on these plans, and we didn't. It kind of disappointed me that it's kind of disappointing to find us in a position where we know in advance, and as an attorney, maybe they should advise 20 days in advance upon something like this, rather than not advise and then get us to a position where we have to go to the president of the bank's office and make a decision in there off the reservation. And now we're here. I mean, I know the chairman of the committee had stated we were borrowing. Like we didn't get it already. We already got this money, guys. We're just cleaning it up. And, you know, now it's kind of ironic that we're trying to throw in a template to cover a 15-day, you know, upon economic development or whatever, you know, we say we're gonna do. And that can change, I guess, in a heartbeat without quorum. And it's just disappointing, you know, I'd like for us to sit down, and I advised this, Mr. Chairman at the time, along with the other 3 officials and officials of the executive, legislative, speaker and secretary, as well as the chairman of the committee, that I think it's high time to sit together, the elected. I've continued to bring that out. We're not against nobody. We're here to serve the public, we're here to serve the Crow members. And we need to come together and sit down at a friendly table and then talk about what we need to actually do. When can that occur? When can that occur? Our people are hurting and they deserve an answer. As elected, we need to sit down together. We need to come together, we need to make these things happen. I know a decision had to be made at that time. But it wasn't like it was just, it just so happened that that was the case. We knew we were coming into this, and even more so, the executive knew, but then we only hear about things like this after the fact. So now we're doing damage control. All I ask is that we sit down, the 4 officials and the 18 legislators, and sit down and talk about exactly what we're going to do. We've never heard about a priority. We've never heard of prioritized a lot of things. We just say this and say that, but we need to sit down as elected and try to direct this situation here to where we can come out of it. We need to pray together. We need to sit together. We need to pray together. We need to ask the Lord to guide us. We can't do it on our own. We're men. We fail. Flesh fails. God is the one that guides. And we need to come to that point where the elected can sit together and pray and come up with an answer to this issue. Not on the whim or on the fly with 6 legislators and 1 executive official. Or 2 executive, I don't know. But the issue at hand here is we broke our law and now we're trying to clean it. The money was already given. We're not borrowing. We borrowed already. And so all I'm doing is pleading here to ask that the 18 sit together with the 4 and seriously sit down at a friendly table and talk about these issues and try to make something happen. We need to sit together and pray and then talk. Ask for some guidance, because we've got 14,000 crows out there that depend on you and I. I asked for that on the record, Speaker, Chairman. We need to get together. We need to get together to make something happen. Positive. Positive change. We said positive change, and I still stand on that. We can make something happen. We still have time, guys. Let's sit together at a friendly table and make it work. Not just continue to break law and then try to clean up our tracks. I'm not in the game of damage control. We need to move forward. We try to move forward looking backward, we're gonna fall. I that's all I ask. Oh,
Thank you, Speaker. Recognizes Chairman O'Connell.
Jackie, and copies Google in, or, you know, if you look at the handout they gave you on the Coach Drive FY 2014, now overdraft, we had 500,000 that was waived, like, Senator Gozad was explaining, and then these are revenues coming in. And if you look at the Westmoreland tax credit, since December 31st, that's actually zero. There's no tax credit coming in from Westmoreland. If you go down to, I think it's like April, we don't know if we'll have the tax credit then. So actually all of this expense and revenue, you know, we have to seriously take a look at that, because at the end of the day, we're not gonna have the 2 million from the tax credit, and, you know, that's part of this. But in this, it's, we have the payment, the loan payment, the schedule on there, 130,000 per month, paid on the 25th of each month. That's the way the payments are gonna be made. But, you know, that's something to think about, kind of put it back of your minds. We've tried, you know, tirelessly to go after the tax credit, but it's part of, you know, they're telling us it's part of the extenders bill, but at the same time, the tax credit is no longer there. So we have to change our game plan on the tax credit. Right now, we're pushing for a standalone bill in Congress to get the tax credit, and so that's where we're at right now. Our champion was Bacchus, but he has since moved on to be the ambassador of China. So the tax credit is actually zero on this, and then the payment schedule for the loan. I did explain that 500,000 from the hydro, 500,000 from the casino development, and H2O drilling rate 300,000, and the project manager for the C-stores 200,000, because those payments, the project manager is 293,000, 250 would be 3 years salary. And so for the first year will be paid, the next 2 years will be paid back through this loan from the economic development loan. So just as FYI.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any more? Floor is still open for debate. Going to get CDs with Raja. If I wasn't there, I'd probably be speaking out against what's going on now too, but I was there. Can't make any excuses, because our backs were against the wall and we had to make a decision. We didn't actually say yes or no. They just asked us what would be the best interest for the tribe, because what they were trying to do was trying to get a loan, and they were trying to get a $1.5 million loan directly. And the president of the bank said, rather than doing that and getting deeper in debt, why don't you just borrow from yourself and just pay back in increments? And I believe that's what we're doing now. Anyway, kosztają się łać. Jest materialny. Okay, moving on. No more questions. Floor is now closed for debate. Speaker will recommend amendments. Any amendments? I believe Finance Chair Crossen goes ahead as an amendment. Would there be any more amendments that someone would want to introduce? Okay, floor recognizes Carlson goes ahead.
Mr. Speaker, Legal J is gonna make some copies. Can we take a 5-minute break here?
Okay, call for 5-minute recess.